Okay, so you want to own a car wash. Pull up to any busy express car wash on a Saturday morning and watch what happens. Cars lined up around the block, moving through a conveyor belt in 90 seconds, coming out clean on the other side, and the owner collecting $8 to $25 per car without a single employee touching a single vehicle. You watch that line and you start counting. 20 cars in the last 10 minutes. That is $200 in 10 minutes. That is $1,200 an hour. That is over $28,000 in a single day if that pace holds. You think to yourself, this is the most efficient money machine I have ever seen in my life. Here is the problem. You are watching the one format of car wash that actually works that way, and it is separated from the 3 other formats that look almost identical from the outside by a business model so fundamentally different that they might as well be completely different industries. The car wash business is not one business. It is 4 businesses wearing the same sign, and picking the wrong one is a mistake that costs millions of dollars and years of your life. Let us start by understanding what you are actually choosing between, because this decision determines every other number in the business. At the bottom of the market sits the self-serve car wash, the kind with bays where customers pull in, feed coins or a card into a machine, pick up a wand, and wash their own car. This format has been declining steadily for over a decade. The customer does all the work. The owner provides the space and the equipment. Margins are thin, vandalism is constant, and the format attracts customers who are specifically looking for the cheapest possible option. Above that sits the in-bay automatic, the drive-through box where a customer pulls in, stays in the car, and a machine moves around the vehicle washing it. These are the machines you see at gas stations. They are low volume, low throughput, limited to 1 car at a time, and generate modest revenue in most markets. Above that is the full-service wash, where employees hand wash the exterior, vacuum the interior, and wipe down the surfaces. High revenue per car, high labor cost, slow throughput, and a business model that depends entirely on the quality and reliability of the people doing the work. And then at the top sits the format that has completely taken over the industry in the last decade and is the reason car washes are suddenly being bought and sold for tens of millions of dollars. The express exterior conveyor with unlimited monthly membership. This is the format you are watching on Saturday morning. And this is the format that has turned a business people used to think of as a gas station amenity into one of the most aggressively acquired assets in American small business. Understanding why requires understanding one number above everything else. That number is membership. Here is how the express exterior model works at its core. A customer drives up, pays $8 to $15 for a single wash, or they sign up for an unlimited monthly membership at $20 to $40 per month that lets them wash their car as many times as they want. On the surface, the membership sounds like a bad deal for the owner. Why would you let someone wash their car 30 times a month for $25 when you could charge them $8 each time? Here is why. The average member washes their car 4 to 6 times per month, regardless of what the membership allows. They sign up, they use it enthusiastically for the first few weeks, and then their usage naturally settles into a pattern that is far below the theoretical maximum. Sound familiar? It is the exact same psychology as the gym membership. The customer pays for unlimited access and uses a fraction of it. Meanwhile, their $25 monthly payment arrives automatically every single month, whether they come once or 20 times. A car wash with 5,000 active monthly members at an average of $28 per month generates $140,000 in recurring monthly revenue before a single additional transaction occurs. That membership base does not fluctuate with weather. It does not disappear when it rains for a week because the members are still being billed. It does not dry up during winter because the auto renewal keeps running. It is the closest thing to a guaranteed revenue floor that any physical retail business can build, and it is the reason private equity firms have spent billions of dollars in the last 5 years acquiring express car wash chains across the United States. Now let us talk about what it actually costs to build or buy this business, because the numbers are larger than almost anyone outside the industry expects. A brand new express exterior conveyor car wash is not a small construction project. The tunnel itself, the conveyor belt system, the wraparound brushes, the high-pressure water systems, the dryer blowers at the exit, the chemical delivery systems, and the payment kiosks at the entry represent an equipment package that runs $800,000 to $1.5 million before you have poured a single yard of concrete. The building and site work, including the approach lane, the exit lane, The vacuum stations, the drainage systems, which must meet strict environmental regulations because car wash water contains chemicals and cannot simply run into the street, the lighting, the landscaping, and the signage, add another $500,000 to $1.2 million depending on the market and the size of the site. The land itself in a high-traffic location is its own separate conversation. A corner lot on a busy arterial road in a suburban market can run $1 million to $3 million to purchase outright, or require a ground lease commitment of $8,000 to $15,000 per month. By the time you have acquired the land, built the facility, installed the equipment, obtained the environmental permits, and funded the first 6 months of operations, a single new express car wash location requires a total investment of somewhere between $2 million and $5 million. This is not a small business in the traditional sense. It is a significant capital project that requires either deep personal capital, a commercial real estate loan, an SBA loan, or an equity partner with experience in the industry. Buying an existing car wash presents a different set of challenges and a different set of risks. The car wash acquisition market has become extremely competitive in the last several years, precisely because institutional investors have discovered the membership model. What used to sell for 3 to 5 times annual earnings now sells for 7 to 12 times earnings in many markets because buyers are not just paying for current cash flow. They are paying for the membership base, the real estate, and the barrier to entry that a well-located car wash represents. A competitor cannot simply open next door. Finding another viable site on a nearby corner is often impossible, and even if they find the land, the permitting process for a new car wash can take 1 to 3 years in many municipalities. This scarcity is real, and it is priced into every acquisition. But it also means that a buyer who overpays for a car wash in a market where membership penetration has already peaked has very little room to grow the revenue and very little margin for error if anything goes wrong with the equipment or the location. Let us talk about equipment, because this is the hidden operating cost that the acquisition model consistently underestimates. The conveyor system, the brushes, the pumps, the chemical injectors, and the dryer units in an express car wash run continuously for 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is industrial equipment operating at maximum stress for most of its waking hours. Brush replacements, pump rebuilds, conveyor chain maintenance, and chemical system servicing represent a real and ongoing cost that well-run operations budget at 5 to 10% of gross revenue annually. On a location doing $2 million in annual revenue, that is $100,000 to $200,000 per year in maintenance and equipment costs. Deferred maintenance in this business is not a minor issue. A conveyor that goes down during a Saturday morning rush with 40 cars in the queue is not just a revenue loss for that hour. It is a customer experience failure that triggers membership cancellations, negative reviews, and a perception problem that takes months to repair. The owners who build profitable multi-location car wash businesses are not the ones who spend the least on maintenance. They are the ones who treat their equipment as the revenue-generating asset it actually is, and invest in keeping it running before it breaks rather than after. Water and chemicals are the other operating cost that surprises almost every first-time buyer. A high-volume express car wash can process 500 to 1,000 cars per day at peak. Each car uses somewhere between 15 and 40 gallons of water, depending on the system and how much reclaim technology is in place. Reclaim systems, which capture, filter, and recycle wash water, are both an environmental requirement in many states and a significant operating cost reducer, but they require their own maintenance and their own capital investment of $50,000 to $150,000. The chemical package, the soaps, the tire shine, the spot-free rinse, the wax applications, represents a cost of 50 cents to $1 and 50 cents per car depending on the product mix. Across 500 cars a day, that is $250 to $750 per day in chemical costs alone, or $7,500 to $22,500 per month. Add water costs, electricity for the pumps and dryers and lighting, labor for the attendants who manage the entrance and exit and keep the vacuum stations clean, and the monthly operating cost of a single high-volume express car wash location runs between $40,000 and $80,000 before any debt service. Now let us put the actual math together, because this is where the real picture becomes clear. A well-run express car wash in a strong location doing 4,000 cars per week between membership washes and single-visit customers with 3,000 active monthly members at an average of $28 per month generates the following. monthly membership revenue of $84,000. Additional single-visit revenue at an average of $10 per non-member visit for roughly 4,000 non-member visits per month of $40,000. Total monthly gross revenue of $124,000, or roughly $1.5 million annually, against monthly operating costs of $60,000 including all labor, utilities, chemicals, maintenance, and insurance. That leaves $64,000 per month in earnings before debt service. If the location was purchased for $3 million with a $2 million loan at current interest rates, the monthly debt service runs approximately $13,000. Net monthly cash flow after debt service, $51,000. Annual net cash flow, approximately $600,000 on a $3 million investment. That is a 20% cash-on-cash return in a strong scenario, which explains exactly why institutional capital has flooded into this industry. In the realistic scenario, two things go wrong that are completely normal in this business. A major competitor opens a new express wash 1 mile away 18 months after you open and pulls 800 of your members away with an introductory offer of $9 a month for the first 6 months. Your membership base drops from $3,000 to $2,200, and your monthly revenue falls by $22,400. Simultaneously, your conveyor system requires a full rebuild that your maintenance budget did not fully cover, adding $30,000 of unplanned capital expenditure in a single quarter. Under those conditions, your annual cash flow drops from $600,000 to somewhere around $350,000. Still a real business, still a real return, but half of what the optimistic model showed. And it happened because of two events that were entirely outside your control. There is a version of this business that compounds in a way that almost no other small business model can match, and it is the reason the most successful car wash operators in the country are not running one location. They are running 10 or 20. The membership base at each location is transferable across the chain. A member who joins at location 1 can wash at location 2 and 3, which increases the perceived value of the membership, reduces churn, and makes the overall network more defensible against any single competitor. The chemical purchasing, the equipment maintenance contracts, and the management overhead all scale with far less than linear cost increases. A 10-location chain with 50,000 members paying an average of $28 per month generates $1.4 million in recurring monthly revenue before a single additional car drives through. This is why the car wash industry has consolidated faster than almost any other segment of American small business in the last decade. The unit economics at scale are genuinely compelling, and the barrier to entry that a well-located physical asset represents makes the competitive moat real in a way that purely digital businesses can almost never achieve. So if you decide to build or buy a car wash, remember the one thing that actually determines whether you build a real business or spend $5 million on a very expensive machine that slowly loses members to the shinier location that opened down the road. It was never really about washing cars. It was always about building a membership base large enough that your recurring revenue covers your fixed costs before the first car of the day drives through your tunnel. The cars are how you stay visible. The members are how you stay solvent. And the car wash that compounds into real wealth is the one whose owner understood that they were not in the cleaning business at all. They were in the subscription business. And the tunnel was just the reason people were happy to pay every month.